We're asked about rotational symmetry of this object. So think about a single point and where it would be if you made some rotations. So if you did a 90-degree rotation, this point is, looks like we're halfway between on the grid line. So this is 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. It's 4.5 from the rotational point. So if you made a 90-degree rotation, either clockwise or counterclockwise, let's say we're going counterclockwise over here, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. The figure would look like this. That's not rotational symmetry because it's not making the same figure, so that's out. Okay. So let's think about 180 degrees. Actually, maybe let's do 45 degrees. Think about that rotation. A 45-degree angle, you know, this is a 90-degree angle. So this would be a 45-degree angle. So we'd be 1, 2, 3. It would be like 4.5 away from the rotational point P, and that would be roughly. I'm not really good at drawing, but that's a rough drawing of what the figure would look like with a 45-degree rotation. So since it's not the same figure, it doesn't have 45-degree rotation. Let's check 180 degrees. So that means we go a semicircle around. And in order for this to have a 180-degree rotation, it's got to be the same going down on this side too. So let's count. This is at like the half mark. So so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is also 4.5 coordinates away from the rotational point P. So if you made the 180-degree rotation, this side comes down here to this point, and then this side comes up here. It's making the same figure, and I guess that's assuming that these are the same across too. 1, 2, 3. That's 3 across. 1, 2, 3. So it does have a 180-degree rotation, because if you picture all the points rotating 180 degrees, they all land in the same spot and you get the same figure. With this one, probably the easiest way of figuring out if it has rotational symmetry is think about all the lines you could draw that would make the figure have symmetry. So this vertical line makes it have symmetry. There we go. Makes it have symmetry because the left and the right sides are the same. If we were to draw a diagonal line, it's hard to do with this mouse, a diagonal line through these 2 points, then we're going to have symmetry. It's going to be the same figure on both sides. And then we can do the same thing over here. Oh, okay, well, you get the idea. It's supposed to go through here. Another diagonal line. There's 3 diagonal lines that we could draw to make it have symmetry. So think about 360 degrees, the full revolution around this, the full amount of different rotations we could have. We have 360 degrees. We split it up into 6 different little slices of pizza. There's 6 different rotational symmetry pieces that we could have. So if you take 360, divide by 6, that means 60 degrees is each angle of rotation. So you could go 60. You could go another 60 to give you 120 degrees. If you make another 60-degree angles, then you're at another place of symmetry that we drew with this line. And then if you go another 60 on top of that, we're at 180 degrees. I think you get the idea. 240 degrees. And then we got 300 degrees. And then obviously 360 degrees. So if you try to find those straight lines that would make the figure have symmetry here, about point P, let's see. Well, here and here, how far apart are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, that point looks exactly halfway between this figure, but how would you slice it so that the figure could rotate and be the same? You know, if we try to slice it here, any sort of rotation that we make, now the figure looks something like this. Well, that's not so good. You know, any rotation you make, it isn't making the same figure. This is like a counterclockwise rotation, maybe 90 degrees. Doesn't make the same thing. Actually, it's probably more like a 45-degree rotation. And if you try to rotate it maybe 180 degrees, then the figure is looking something like this. Rotational symmetry, the figure has to be the same. So if you try to make a 180-degree rotation here, it does not make the same figure. So picture your figure getting rotated around, and it has to make the same figure if you make that rotation. Any sort of rotation with this irregular shape is going to make it's going to be in a different place. It's not going to make the same blue shaded area.